Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do it. Your attitude determines how well you do it. Profound words courtesy of Lou Holtz. Happy Monday, everyone. It is a new day and a new week. In whatever you do, don't forget to make the most of it. I'm Adrian Atkinson, your host for today. Coming up, we review the major achievements in the Ministry of Justice in this past year. Plus, we deep dive into a project that's designed to increase Jamaica's resilience against climate change. Those and so much await you. Stay tuned.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency NLA can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, January 16, 2023. Government will be amending the Offences Against the Person Act to clarify and reinforce the death penalty as the punishment for capital murder in Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says significant consequences will be meted out to persons who use violence which results in the death of another. The amendments, he says, is part of government's decisive action to deter acts of violence within the society. Mr. Holness made the comment as he addressed the inaugural National Security Seminar hosted by the Office of the National Security Advisor last week. The Prime Minister also lashed out at offenders who commit murders and receive shorter incarceration periods based on good behavior.
We're going to disabuse them of that. And so we will make it clear in the amendment that the penalty for murder, for capital murder, is the death penalty, and where that is not applied, it is life imprisonment without parole.
The country's murder rate in 2022 was at an all-time high, and Mr. Holness insists that public laws and policies must be used to address producers of violence.
You cannot question the principle that if someone takes life and is convicted of such, they should be separated from the society for a long time. Their useful life should be taken away as well. And so a long term of imprisonment, which takes away their useful life, is something that the government will contemplate seriously and bring amendments to the legislation to reflect.
Approximately 100,000 Jamaicans now have access to improved fire and emergency services with the official opening of the new Port Maria Fire Station in St. Mary. The facility was built at a cost of $258 million under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project. It will serve 48 communities in and around the parish capital. At Friday's handover, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the building is part of government's drive to build long-lasting infrastructure on the island.
We are expecting that with this new facility, the morale of our firefighters will be improved. Their capabilities to respond will improve. The relationship between the firefighting services and the community will improve. And the entire township, parish capital, will feel a renewed sense that Jamaica is paying attention to their needs.
The new fire station can accommodate up to 80 firefighters and boasts an administrative block, engine bays, male and female dormitories, a conference room, 2 fire trucks, and emergency management services.
This is not just a brand new fire station that will serve the people of Port Maria and the surrounding communities. It is the latest component of an unprecedented infrastructure of social protection and national asset management the government is building through the services provided by the Jamaica Fire Brigade.
Meanwhile, local government and rural development minister Desmond McKenzie says work valued at $70 million is underway at the Anotta Bay Fire Station in St. Mary. It is part of a comprehensive improvement program for the development of fire services across the island. Minister McKenzie says coming on stream this March will be the activation of the new and improved Black River Fire Station and the start of work on the Balaclava Fire Station, both in St. Elizabeth. The minister used the opportunity to implore Jamaicans to take greater responsibility in preventing fires and ensuring their personal safety.
I want to make it clear that the increase in the effectiveness of the GFB and the expansion of its footprint across the country is not to be interpreted as a substitute for community responsibility and personal responsibility to be set aside. The government is doing its part. The fire brigade is doing its part. Our citizens must do their part.
In other news, stakeholders from the Middle East, Africa, and the Caribbean are set to converge at the inaugural Global Tourism Resilience Crisis Management Conference to be held in Jamaica in February. The semi-virtual conference will be held at the University of the West Indies regional headquarters from February 15 to 17. It will engage a wide cross-sector of ministers, leaders, investors, academia, and other stakeholders on sustainability for growth and development. At Thursday's launch, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said a major highlight of the conference will be participation from entities in Africa and the Middle East.
We've asked the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, who heads the Africa Caribbean Institute at the University of the West Indies, the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, to keynote that summit element of the conference. And of course, we will be having a series of panel discussions with the ministers and leaders of Africa and the Caribbean. We're also expecting the Minister of International Affairs from Saudi Arabia to be part of the discussions also.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness is also expected to lead discussions on the establishment of Global Tourism Resilience Day on February 17. The conference also features investment opportunities, the launch of a Global Tourism Resilience Institute, and the Tourism Employment Expansion Mandate team. Programs within the Global Tourism Resilience Crisis Management Center project for 2023 will also be introduced.
That's going to be a significant document which not only will detail what are the key activities that our centers across the world, where we have centers in Canada, in the United States, in the UK, in Nairobi, in Kenya, and in Amman in Jordan, as well as here in Jamaica. And now we're looking to Bulgaria, we're looking to Namibia, we're looking to Botswana, and a number of other countries within the next 6 months that will make the resilience movement be visible and active in more than 15 countries across the world.
For more details on the conference, persons may visit the website at gtrcmc.org. And finally, Jamaica has received a 12 million Canadian dollar boost from long-standing international partner Canada through the newly launched Social Justice So Just project. The 7-year initiative, which runs from 2021 to 2028, aims to facilitate a more rights-based and gender-sensitive justice system that yields equitable outcomes for all Jamaicans. So Just is intended to integrate the 4 pillars of social justice: equity, access, participation, and rights. At the launch on Thursday, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck welcomed the initiative and thanked the Canadian government and other international partners for their strong support.
This program now, being launched, the Social Justice Program, is really one where we expect strong communication so that every single citizen is made aware you have help, you can get help. Just use the services being provided by the Ministry of Justice and other state agencies.
This is a program that already has shown some very good results and something that we do need to continue. Justice is something that all citizens want, a system that that supports the vulnerable in all communities, whether it's women and communities from all across Jamaica, and we're very happy to be a part of that.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Balancing rights and responsibilities was the mantra of this ministry in 2022. Find out more next.
It is honor that led us to respond to the call to serve in these various positions.
Because not only will it help to reduce the number of cases in the court, but it will also help to deliver justice within communities.
And to ensure that the justice of every situation that it is confronted with is met.
On the adjournment of 2022, the Ministry of Justice was adjudged as performing in favor of the people and with good governance. Of course, the verdict would have been ruled from the ministry's evidence-based strategic approach. Here's 2022's final brief.
The judiciary and the court system have my full support as we work together to provide a justice system that Jamaicans can be proud of.
Some outstanding names with solid performance records were added or moved to new capacities on the ministry's roster last year. Queen's Counsel Caroline Reed Cameron became the island's new public defender, while Justice Marva MacDonald Bishop was sworn in as acting president of the Court of Appeal. Added to the people propelling justice was the appointment of 5 new judges to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Ian Forbes' installation as Custos Rotolorum for St. Andrew. The St. Catherine Justice of the Peace Association also made its official debut, and more broadly, over 189 JPs were commissioned for the year.
Just embrace this new aspect of your career with the same dedication and diligence that you have that took you to the point where you now are.
Collaborative efforts were high on the ministry's docket. A partnership was established with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, to support the public education campaign on the use of alternative dispute resolution methods. The Justice Ministry also engaged the Ministry of Education and Youth, and together they were able to expand conflict resolution programs in over 80 schools. The ministry also signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with churches to train its members in restorative and alternative dispute.
We are embarking on a program of support and partnership, which I have absolutely no doubt will bear enormous fruit.
The physical look and feel of justice infrastructure was another high target area. The ministry's course of action allowed for the establishment of the Pembroke Hall Restorative Justice Center to deal with matters related to child diversion, restorative justice, dispute resolution, and other issues. The Addison Park Sports Complex was renovated to house the St. Anne Parish Court, which was destroyed by fire. Jamaica's justice is in good hands.
The Ministry of Justice is playing its role in the governance of this country.
The creation may be regarded as the most serious attempt by any head of government to revisit holistically the legal and constitutional infrastructure of the Jamaica nation-state.
In 2022, efforts were intensified to move Jamaica to the long-awaited Republican status, a new ministry, progression of legislative reforms, and the establishment of legislative teams in government. Details of the work of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs come your way on January 17. Mark the date when we share the strategies, commitments, and successes of the ministry.
The commitment of the Prime Minister to transition Jamaica away from a constitutional monarchy is one that will be kept.
Government is serious about protecting lives and livelihoods. This priority was galvanized through a 5-year project dubbed A Jamaican Path from Hills to Ocean. Let's learn some more.
Spectacular views of the Blue Mountains, the cradle for the Wagwater River watershed, one of Jamaica's 26 watersheds, and the source of 40% of the water for the Kingston metropolitan area. Fresh water rolls from these hills to the valley, supplying one of Jamaica's longest rivers, the White River, flowing for 27 kilometers past bamboo groves and lush vegetation, crossing the boundary lines of the northeastern parishes of St. Anne and St. Mary, to empty into the Ocho Rios Fish Sanctuary and into the Caribbean Sea. A Jamaican Path from Hills to Ocean. This is a story of a remarkable project to increase Jamaica's resilience to climate change by sustaining our watersheds, our coastlines, our land and marine resources, while empowering more Jamaicans with the required knowledge and awareness to secure their livelihoods in these spaces. The Hills to Ocean project is funded by the European Union Global Climate Change Alliance Plus in partnership with the Government of Jamaica to the tune of €6 million over 5 years. The project will implement integrated and sustainable landscape and coastal management interventions to tackle the thorny challenges of declining ecosystems, biodiversity loss, land degradation, and the vagaries of climate change affecting vulnerable communities in Jamaica.
The project intends to stop erosion in selected watersheds to reduce degradation of important terrestrial habitats, sedimentation of the marine space, loss of soil productivity, and pollution of the rivers and streams for improper waste management. The restorative activities are therefore designed towards building climate resilience and transforming managing capabilities within affected ecosystems and communities.
In the lower reaches of the watershed, the flow of the Wagwater River has slowed to a trickle in parts of the picturesque Castleton Botanical Gardens. For Oswald Eyre, a longtime resident of the Wagwater Valley and president of a local NGO working with 17 communities, the Hills to Ocean project is a welcomed addition to the ongoing efforts to restore the watershed.
These are two big resources, Castleton Gardens and the Wagwater and its tributaries. In the early days, the Wagwater was most important for fishing, for recreation, for training. Everybody on the banks of the Wagwater, some 17,000 to 18,000 persons. By age 10 or so, they will be able to swim. There was a section of the river that we call Deep Hole. Very deep, and it retained water. And when rainfall is low, those deep holes will gradually feed the stream with water. And by the time they are exhausted, rain would come again and refill them. All that is gone today.
The Hills to Ocean project will directly benefit Castleton Gardens and many other communities and residents who make their livelihood from key economic sectors like agriculture and tourism. There are 3 targeted watershed management units under the project: the Wagwater WMU, including Castleton Gardens, the Rio Nuevo WMU in St. Mary, and the Rio Bueno White River WMU in St. Anne and Trelawney. The project will also focus on wetland ecosystems at Winds Morass on the coast of Falmouth, Trelawney, and farther inland at the Mason River Protected Area at the border of St. Anne and Clarendon, a Ramsar site known for its rich biodiversity. The Hills to Ocean project will also assess the health and distribution of seagrass beds in the Ocho-Rios Marine Park Protected Area and at the Helsha Bay and Half Moon Bay Portland Bight Protected Area in St. Catherine and Clarendon. From hills to ocean, the downstream effect of pollution and indiscriminate dumping of solid waste in the White River pose real threats and challenges for Ocho-Rios, once a sleepy fishing village, now a bustling town with vibrant tourism and other commercial interests, and the community of fishermen who were there from the beginning. Belinda Collier-Morrow, a diver and chair of the White River Marine Association, which has partnered with the fishermen in the area to run the Ocho-Rios Fish Sanctuary, remembers a time when the coral reefs were healthy and the fish were in abundance.
This project will definitely help us because we're totally aligned with what this project is doing. When people clear the lands, that's also coming into the river and smothering and getting out to sea, smothering the corals. And you see the river turns brown. You can see it goes for miles out to sea when we've had a big rain. So this project will work to address things like that. Better farming, better farming practices that will affect the river. That will in turn affect what we're doing out there.
I think the Hills to Ocean is a great platform for us to really get information about how serious this is, because we, as the White River Fish Sanctuary, as a local community-based group, we can only do so much.
Working in the sanctuary, it's an eye-opening, for it teaches us to care, the bad habits and, the do and the don'ts,
If people have an understanding of what their actions do and why it matters, I think that is what is going to make a difference.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica is the executing agency of this high-level Hills to Ocean project. A core project management unit collaborates and coordinates daily with technical experts from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, and the Public Gardens Division, and from NEPA, the National Environment and Planning Agency.
The implementation of this project is a direct investment in data collection and research and will strengthen the technical capacity of the National Environment and Planning Agency, ultimately bolstering its monitoring and early warning capabilities. Together, let us join hands and hearts to manage and protect Jamaica's land, wood, air, and water.
Given the new national campaign by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries to grow smart and eat smart, we look forward to the new possibilities presented under this project to teach new techniques, build resilience, and strengthen our island nation. RADA aims through the promotion of integrated and sustainable land management practices as well as direct transfer of knowledge to achieve these goals.
The Hills to Ocean project was developed through partnership and collaboration. The direct project beneficiaries are members of the communities in the 3 named WMUs, but the entire Jamaican population will benefit from its outcomes. The PIOJ looks forward to continued collaboration with residents, the European Union, and state partners in making this project a success.
We value and appreciate the cooperation with Jamaica regarding this project, as it will allow us to further progress on the joint fight on climate change. Jamaica has proven to be a pioneer in the region regarding the subject, and we are very happy to see that actions are taking place every day to improve the life of Jamaicans, as well as of all those sharing this planet, since climate change doesn't stop at national borders.
If you own a piece of the rock, it's crucial that you have the correct documents to prove ownership. We'll run you through the process in this next feature.
If you are a landowner who does not have a registered title, you can apply for one now. A registered title is a document that indicates you own the land, and if you don't have one, another person can lay claim to your land. The process of registering for land titles begins here. Here are the initial steps you need to take. Step 1. Obtain and sign an application form as stipulated by the Registration of Titles Act. Step 2 is to obtain a statutory declaration, which is merely a letter from a local resident attesting to the applicant's ownership of the land. Step 3 is similar to Step 2 in that you must obtain a supporting statutory statement from two people who have known the property for at least 30 years in order to demonstrate ownership rights through possession. This is necessary if the petitioner lacks 40 years' worth of documentary evidence of ownership. The fourth step requires you to obtain a current certificate of payment for property taxes. You will also need a survey-checked diagram if the land is being registered by plan. After that, present any other document you may have proving ownership, such as a receipt, transfer, or probate form. Finally, you must pay an entry fee, which is equal to 1% of the property's value. You must pay this cost when you provide your paperwork to the assessor at the title office. You will receive an official receipt with the name of the applicant, the document number, and the receipt number printed on it. Your application number is printed on the receipt and must be used when you are contacted about the application. Once your application has been submitted successfully, you must save your receipt. Processing takes anywhere from 6 months to a year. If a rejection notification is sent out during that time, the processing period will restart if you want to reapply. Pay your property taxes, have your land surveyed, and remember, land titles can be used as a resource to safeguard your future and the future of your children. To learn more about how to obtain a land title today, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm.
That's all the time we have for you today. I hope you learned a lot from today's show. If you happen to miss it, be sure to visit our website, jis.gov.jm, to catch up on this episode and so much more. While you're at it, remember to download our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible to have more information on the go. I am Adrian Atkinson from the production team here at the JIS. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.